I want to make this video and dedicated to the United States of America Department of Defense. They finally have decided that they need to change something, and they need to change the way they condition the population, and also their soldiers. The soldiers cannot be divided by color coding and sex and origin and all these just insane stuff that is put out by the paid television and paid radio and magazines and the internet and all the basically the enemies of the United States of America. As you know, many of the forts, the armed forces facilities are named, and a lot of them are named after Confederate soldiers. You have to understand that these Confederate soldiers were the enemies of the United States of America. In 1865, we have something called reconstruction. Basically, they sort of like they tried to fix what was broken. Basically, they tried to recondition the population of the Confederate States. And how they went about it was by allow them to erect monuments to themselves. You know, I mean, monuments to people who fought for the Confederacy. But by doing that, they actually lost sight of what the Reconstruction was about. The Reconstruction was about fixing what was broken, and all this was hijacked, was opposite, was completely hijacked. And what happened was they created division into colors, into color codes. And that is how they went about it. They went and fought and killed one another and eradicated slavery and expanded west. And now they established apartheid. They went west and completely destroyed the native, the aborigines. They were already here since God created this planet. And they already were Christianized, and they were advanced by the Spaniards. And that is what I want to talk about. All these forts that we have today, the name after Lee, and after Stonewall Jackson, and after all these names. But the people who created the United States of America, they are not represented. They are not represented. There is a great amount of citizens of the United States of America that to this day, since 1791, they are not representative. Why not? I want to tell you why not. Because we have been completely taken over by the English, and the English is a divisive. The English only divide you so that they can conquer you, basically. So I think, yes, we do need to change the name on those forts, and we can start with Fort Bragg. I love to change Fort Bragg's name, and I would change it to the name of a fellow that is critical in the creation of the United States of America, and that is Juan Manuel de Cajigal. Juan Manuel de Cajigal was the guy who financed basically the United States of America, the war against the English. All these personals, all these people that fought and died in the deltas, in the Mississippi Delta, in the Gulf, in the Bahamas, fighting the English. You have forgot all about them. I think we need to start naming the very first fort. The Department of Defense of the United States of America will change, if they will change their name. I think it should be Carlos III or Charles III. Without Charles III, we do not exist. Without the French, we do not exist. So we need to change, apply names like Bernardo de Galvez, his brother Jose de Galvez, Esteban Gomez, Esteban Rodriguez Miro, Pedro Menendez de Avila. All these people fought and sacrificed quite a lot for the United States of America. People like Juan Ollante, Ignacio de Valderas, I don't know, so many others, Albas Núñez Cabeza de Vaca, that we have cities named after him today. Francisco de Saavedra. This guy was amazing. These people, there is no one alive today. They have accomplished what these people had. They created what we are today, people. The greatest nation on this planet. Analyze that. These people in these ragged up ships with drinking bad water, like Juan Manuel de Cajigal. I mean, he by himself destroyed the English fleet. I think we need to also mention Francisco Miranda. You can name a fort in the United States of America after Francisco Miranda. Jose Solanos Bote, Conde de Aranda, you know. And also remember that the very first European born in the United States of America, Florida, in a city founded by Ponce de Leon, a Puerto Rican. His name is Martin de Agüelles. He was the son of a sergeant named also Martin de Agüelles, and his mother, Leonor de Morales. I think one fort, at least, should be named after the mother of the first European born in the United States of America. A true United States of America national. Analyze that, people. A guy from Cuba was the first one. From Mexico, from Puerto Rico, Leonor de Morales was the mother. I think you need to decondition yourselves. I think you need to forget about black and white and Republicans and Democrats and blue state and red states and corporations. And you guys are there in CNN, ABC, NBC, BBC, even the BBC, for God's sake. The entire world is being destroyed for no reason. And no one is speaking about all these great men. They try to create something novel and amazing. Everybody remember George Washington. But you have to remember everybody else. You have to remember what happened in the 1860s in the United States of America. You need to know what happened in 1820s, 1819, 1820s, where the United States of America was so confused that they took away Florida from the Spaniards, the very one that helped them to create this nation. Not only that, 1898 come around and went and destroyed them completely. We went from being Cubans and Mexicans and Puerto Ricans and United States of America to English. Analyze that. Today, Mr. Barr. That is amazing. This is the people who is heading the judicial system in the United States of America. The President of the United States of America and Mr. Barr are color coding people to this day, since 1775, where we start fighting. Analyze that, people, and we still haven't got out of it. Why we humans are so crazy? When are we going to become something else than animals? I don't know. I wish I would know, but I don't. So you guys are there in the Department of Defense, please name Fort Bragg after, I don't know. I will pick my favorite hero of the United States of America. I will pick Juan Manuel de Cajigal. That is the one that I choose, just to replace Fort Bragg, because he was a Navy man. He was a guy who get out from the boat after go cruising in the Bahamas and fight the English. And when I say the English, I don't say the English people, because the English people were forced to fight, were conditioned to fight, and die for nothing. So analyze that. How we send men to die for no reason whatsoever. No reason whatsoever. Well, let me stop my rant and analyze what I'm talking about. Forget all this color coding and all these. You guys, you are not superior. You guys who call yourself white supremacists, and you guys that goes into a crowd like another day, this guy from Virginia say, I belong to the KKK and I'm going to kill black people. Let me tell you something. You are not superior. I'm going to tell you who was superior, and they did not call themselves colors. They called themselves de Cajigal, de Avilas, de Valdez. That is names of cities. That were the last name. Mine, de Olivenza. You with no name, you are no superior. These people like Bernardo de Galvez, Juan de Galvez, Esteban Gomez, those are superior. That woman that gave birth to the first European in the United States of America, in Florida, in San Agustin, the first city in the United States of America, founded by Ponce de Leon. His name was Martin de Agüeyes. That mother, she was superior. Leonor de Morales. So don't go going around there trying to say the other people are inferior to you. They are causing you no harm. You causing yourself harms. And yes, let's change the world. Let's change the world. And I suggest going big, going really big. I would suggest to going to Georgia, in Stone Mountain, Georgia, and demand to take down Mr. Lee out of that mountain, Mr. Stonewall out of that mountain, and the President of the Confederate States of America out of that mountain, and give that mountain back to who does belong and always have belonged to. The Aborigines of this country, the Cherokees and the Apaches and the Navajo, that mountain belonged to them. You have no right to carve those men on that mountain. So make it a flat and carve the biggest native of this continent that you can possibly carve in it. Saludos.